What is up, everybody, and happy holidays. I'm Tiger Arcade. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Stylophone lineup here that I've got, the S1, the X-1, and the latest edition, the Beat. You know, with the holidays approaching, these are the perfect synthesizers to consider for stocking stuffers for multiple reasons. You know, they're all portable, their size and their price, and they're just fun to play with. Let me just preface and say that Stylophone did not sponsor this video in any way. However, in the past, you know, I've won Stylophone giveaways, and Stylophone has worked with me, you know, and sent me products. But this video, you know, just as a disclaimer, this isn't affiliated with them. This is just me sharing my own opinion and experiences. First and foremost, you have the original classic, the Stylophone S-1. And what makes the Stylophone S-1 so impactful is that, you know, they've been making this since the 60s, and some major artists have actually used this, whether it was for fun or in a professional setting. David Bowie is one of those examples of someone who's used the Stylophone, and they used this. This is a remake, but it's of that original one. All these are the main models of Stylophones, okay? There are different colors and editions of the Stylophones. So this one comes in pink, comes in white, which is the David Bowie edition, I believe. But let's talk about what each of them can do, and let's kind of compare, you know, between all of them. So the S1 is a monophonic synthesizer. What that means is it can only play one note at a time, and you have to use the stylus. They all have a built-in speaker, each and every one of them. They're all portable. They all take AA batteries. On the back, you see here, that is a tuning knob, kind of a simple explanation of it. What's cool about this one, though, is it's got a great sound, and it's got an audio out jack right here, so you can use headphones with it. But, you know, you can plug it in with like effects pedals or into your DAW, like your computer, you know, and process the sound that way too. It's got little numbers on it to help you, you know, if you were to play along with something. They've got cool little guides for playing songs, and these sound so, let's just say, 60s and old school, and you can really beef up the sound if you want to add more depth. It has a little vibrato switch down here. You know, it's kind of like shaking or wiggling that note, you know, kind of adds more variety and character to a sound. Something else that's really cool about this is you have these little octave switches to go up and down octaves. That's a cool little feature, and the reason why I really love that is because the Gen X-1, which is next up in line, doesn't have that, but it has loads of features. So what's really cool about this one, I won't say it's my favorite, because I don't have favorites. There's something to admire about each and every one of them, but I'm a synth nerd, if you're familiar with my channel at all, and I love that you can really fine-tune your sound on here with all of the features on here. You've got a filter, which is very typical of any synthesizer, you know. It's a way to shape your sound. All of these are like shaping tools. So if you're someone that really likes to explore and experiment with sound, this is it, because it's like in an all-in-one package. So this has an LFO. An LFO is a low frequency oscillator. What does that mean? An LFO will kind of add like that vibrato character to your sound as it comes out. You have an envelope, which is more based on the pitch. That's very typical of a synthesizer to have an envelope, but this one is not a typical one because this one is specifically to your pitch of your sound, where you have the attack decay, the rise and fall of a sound. How quickly does it come in, how in versus out. Something that's really cool about this is it has delay, and it's a beautiful sounding delay. It can distort really quickly, or it can be nice and smooth on this. The delay, you can toggle it on and off. You can choose the timing of the delay, how quickly it responds or slowly it responds. You have level, which again is like your mix, your wet or dry. How much is it influencing your sound? And then the feedback is like the tail. How long is that delay lasting for? On the side here, you have something really cool and special about this one. You have sub-octave, so if you play a note on here, it can play an octave down, and you can press another button and it'll play 2 octaves down. You can play them simultaneously. It really adds depth to your sound. The X button is pulse width modulation. Let's just say it adds a chorusy effect. To not get too technical about that one, it's fun. It adds a lot of character to your sound. Something else really cool about this is you have an auxiliary input instead of an output. You also have your headphone jack output. It's not just for headphones, but the auxiliary input, you can plug your other stylophones or other instruments into this and use the delay, the filter, just different features on here to modulate or alter shape sound. This one also has that tuning knob on the back. Let's put this right here. Hopefully it doesn't fall down. Something I forgot to mention is this pitch strip. You don't have to use the stylus to go up and down that. You can use your finger. They did that on like old synthesizers. It's kind of a cool way for playing around with sound effects. This is the most latest one. You can play a drum kit along with a monophonic bass synthesizer. And there's that word again, monophonic. Can't play chords. You can play one note at a time, but it's like a bass line, right? You don't play chords with the bass line typically. So you can record and play it, and it will play it in a pattern and repeat that pattern. It has a little built-in metronome to help you, as you're trying to keep your timings and everything. It has 4 different drum kits and 4 different bass synthesizers. The drums, you can play 12 different drum sounds at the same time while playing with the bass synthesizers. And it gives you these genres. The genres are box, hip, tech, and rock. I'm assuming it means beatbox, hip hop, techno, and rock. While those are all happening, you have something called pattern, so you can temporarily store your patterns on here, which is a neat feature. You can step repeat your notes on here, or whatever's on your pattern, I should say. And it has a filter. If you press the middle, it will do a filter, which is a really cool little effect to do. Transpose can, if the bass synthesizer is playing and you're going up or down, it will raise that note or lower that note, which is a cool little feature. Let's compare and contrast a little bit with all of these stylophones, okay? The Stylophone S-1 is around $40. You can sometimes find it a little less, $35. It really depends. The Beat is also $40, give or take, The Gen X-1 is around $80, okay? So it's double the price. But I think that's because it has a lot of features, can do a lot, So that one makes sense why they're asking double the price. So it's really for someone who wants to go more in depth. If you already have a computer, and you don't care about that, or you got guitar pedals or something, maybe someone's like, this middle one here, the Gen X-1, it's not necessary. Not for me. I don't like getting too technical. Then you can just go with the Stylophone. It's great for leads, and you can do some lower stuff too, some low-end stuff. But the Beat here, what it's really great for is it's in the name, you guys. But it has a bass synthesizer and a drum machine, so you can play that and then maybe have some leads going if you wanted to get both. You didn't have enough and you couldn't afford, or you didn't want to fork out all your money into one thing, you could get the Stylophone S-1 and the Beat, and then you got like a little band going, But the nice thing about the X-1 is you can plug instruments into it and it already has effects. It's like an all-in-one, but it doesn't have, drums. It doesn't have percussion. That's something that it's lacking. So you could get this, and then you could play it, plug it into that. It just depends, because there's different things you would need if you wanted to play all of these together. Like you would need 3 arms. Not everyone has 3 arms. Because you could keep this one going and then use your two arms to control the styluses, or styli. I don't know how to say plural stylus. You know, you could use your two arms to control these, you know, doing different things, or just play this one, have this one plugged into that one for the effects, the delay, and then just focus on your leads. Just trying to brainstorm different ways you could use these, you know. My favorite for the sound is actually the original. The S1, I think, has the best sound, which might be odd to some people to hear that. I think just the natural sound of it sounds just really good, and then you add effects onto it. So you could plug it into the X1 or some pedals, or, you know, use it with your computer, whatever, and then you can expand on that sound. I think it just sounds really classic and good. It's very 60s. When you get to the X1, it's very 70s, 80s, you know. And that's because you get these other additional effects that start to make it more, you know, psychedelic, or that pulse width modulation. You're just starting to get more character that you would find later on. I know that the psychedelic era was late 60s, early 70s, and debatable even beyond. But, you know, at the height of that. So this one's cool. So maybe late 60s, 70s, can even be 80s, because of that pulse width modulation. Sounds very chorusy, very typical of the 80s. So this one is very feature packed, like we've said. The beat, to me, it's very 90s, to, you know, put it bluntly. The sounds, the drum kits, the bass synthesizers that you get are very something you'd hear in the 90s up into maybe the early 2000s. So you have your different decades, and they kind of cross over a little bit. 60s, 70s-ish, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Okay, so there you go. There's your lineup, and there's my kind of thoughts about all of them. I'm curious what you guys think. Which one's your favorite? What are the pros and cons? Maybe you have them all, you know. They're very budget friendly synthesizers, and they're going to be great for the holidays, for anybody looking to, you know, get a gift for someone else, for themselves. The choice is yours, you know, which one you think is right for you. I enjoy playing the Beat along with the X1. I love doing that because it has that auxiliary input, but I just love the classic Stylophone. It's great. Love it. So maybe, yeah, like I said, I don't really have a favorite. All in all, thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you have a happy holiday season. And yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you next time. Peace.